Welcome to the Portraits Whisper, where our guest storytellers are portraits, paintings, and artworks. Here, every canvas breathes and every brushstroke hides a story waiting to be told. Tonight's whisper is from our guest, Waldeneres bei Mondschein, Forest Under Moonlight, an oil painting on canvas created by the German artist Caspar David Friedrich, circa 1827. A newcomer to the world, unseen by the world at large until a century and a half after its creation. Listen closely, for its silence is not empty. In Friedrich's moonlit forest, the lantern still burns, a search without end, and a cold that never melts. Now we are drawn back to the deep, silent woods of the old masters. It is where so many stories end and so many hauntings begin. Come, step away from the world of sharp lines and bright colors. The light is dim here, and the truth is softer and far more sorrowful. I am Friedrich's Forest Interior by Moonlight. You see a path. Your eyes are drawn to it, as all travelers are. It is flanked by ancient, stooping oaks, their bark like the wrinkled skin of old men. It winds its way into darkness so profound that it seems to swallow the very light that reveals it. And the light itself? You believe it is the moon. That is a reasonable assumption. But I am the canvas. I have held this light for 2 centuries. I have felt its chill, and I can tell you, that is not moonlight. Moonglow is cold, silver, indifferent. The light I hold is tinged with the faintest memory of gold, the ghost of a warmth it no longer possesses. What you are seeing is not a beam from the heavens. It is the echo of a lantern. An old man lived here once, in a hut long since crumbled to dust in memory, just beyond that final bend in the path. His name was Silas, and he was the forest's keeper, though he held no official title. He knew its every root and hollow, the language of its owls, the temper of its seasons. He was as much a part of the wood as the trees themselves. One winter, a terrible blizzard descended, a white fury that buried the world. A little girl named Elsbeth, from the village miles away, had wandered into the woods that afternoon, chasing a red fox, and she did not return. While the villagers huddled by their fires, deciding it was too dangerous to search until morning, Silas knew morning would be too late. He lit his old tin lantern, pulled his cloak tight, and stepped out onto this very path. The wind howled, the snow clawed at him, but the light of his lantern was a small, determined star in the churning dark. He followed tracks that were vanishing even as he found them, his heart a painful drum against his ribs. He called her name until his voice was raw, a sound swallowed by the storm. He found her, not far from here. She was curled at the base of that great dark oak you see in the center of my canvas, a primal hollow formed by the gnarled ancient roots of that great, now stricken oak, a meager shelter that the forest offered against a storm that wished to claim everything. He drew her into that dark space between the roots, hoping the body of the old tree would be a shield, her red scarf a fading ember against the snow. She was slipping into that final cold sleep. He wrapped her in his own cloak, held her close, and tried to shield her small body with his own, his lantern sputtering beside them in the snow. They were found 2 days later, frozen together. The lantern's candle had long since burned out. And so the forest remembers. On still nights when the moon is high, the path glows with the phantom light of Silas's lantern, replaying its journey. He is walking that path again forever. He is searching, his heart full of desperate hope that this time, he will be fast enough. The true haunting, though, is that terrible storm. Its snow melted centuries ago, but the cold of that night never left this place. Others have sought shelter here in all seasons, beneath the remains of this same great oak, lighting fires that give no warmth. Perhaps that is the cruelest part of the memory I hold. I show you the scene on a clear night, the ground bare, the air still. But the memory of that blizzard is trapped forever in my oils, a phantom cold that seeps through the canvas on the deepest nights. I do not show you the snow, but through me you feel its ghost. I have held this scene for 200 years. I do not hold a landscape. I hold a search, a silent, luminous, and eternal hunt for a life that is already lost. That is the cold you feel in my oils. Not winter, but the grief of a search destined to end too late, again and again. It is the heartbreak of knowing that just beyond my frame, he is about to find her. And just beyond that, the light will finally go out. You have been listening to The Portrait's Whisper on Storylink Radio, where every canvas has a story to tell. Be sure to subscribe and listen for our next guest, for the gallery never sleeps, and another canvas is already waiting to whisper.